And I believe there's a Raptor engine on that truck over there. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but we're looking at the main gate here at SpaceX, and it looks like they have a Raptor engine on the back of that trailer. Hey, good morning. I'm setting up the mic right now. Carl, good morning. 9:45. It's been a bunch of stuff over the last 24 hours, and we just chat and see what's going on. I got some updates too, but I wanted to at least go live and show what we're seeing here. See what some of the conversation in the back is. All right. Robert says maybe it's a good sign, huh? They still got to replace Raptors. Yeah, maybe on the booster, huh? All right, I've got the mic hooked up. Let me know if the audio is good. Pretty cool. I have the other camera with me and I'm using a tripod. There was a guy, Juan, who's an electrician here in South Texas. He gave me this awesome kind of like a handle that you can attach to your camera. I'll show it live here. Hey, good morning, Tony. It looks like a Raptor. Where are they pouring cement? I put a bunch of bee pollen on if you're looking for some enzymes in your food, a lot of food is flash pasteurized or cooked or whatever. It doesn't have enzymes, so one of the things I do is I eat some bee pollen. I'm gonna get on camera here briefly. Check this out. This is a Nikon camera, and Juan gave me this. John Rodriguez gave me this connector for the Nikon camera. It's got like handles and everything, so it screws into the bottom where the normal thing connects and sits right on the tripod. So it's kind of like it's pretty awesome. Hopefully you can see that. Where the pouring the cement, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've seen any cement trucks come in. Fede from Alvarez from 10 of 9, awesome. Robert, yep. So it's a funner way to use your camera though, that's for sure, with this thing with handles. All right. I've reached out to a bunch of people over this week and been able to make some nice connections. I have some groups offline with a bunch of engineers that I've chatted with, about 10 different engineers and scientists and stuff. Yeah, it's a good rig. Hey, Badir. Nair from Ireland. Good stuff. Yeah, it's a good grip, huh? Okay, Mark says on the other side of the landing pad, there's a boom over there, huh? Okay. Oh yeah, I think I can maybe see that. Let me get a shot. But it looks like there's a Raptor just sitting right there on that truck right there. I don't know of any road closures for today. Hey Ken, good morning. You see, apparently there's a boom over on the other side of the orbital launch platform, huh? Frank, good morning. Yeah, maybe that could be a cement thing back there. I don't know if this is what you're referring to back there, that thing back there. Maybe a cement thing. Yeah, it looks like the rolling fence in front here is working too, Robert. Yep. I can, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get over there today, but there is today is, I believe, the Chinese New Year. So there's a festival or a party going on at the Maker SpaceX. Coming down the road here with this truck. There's more people hanging out now. I don't know if I'm talking too loud, but there's more people hanging out now down by the beach since the announcement of the upcoming possible launch at the end of February or March, and the stacking, I guess. The stacking also attracted a bunch of people. But the word is getting out that they're coming up possibly close to a launch, and there's a handful of RVs now parked down by the beach. Around the clock, whenever there's not a road closure, there's a bunch of people camping out on the road. So that's nice to see. A lot of times in the past year and a half, it's been like nobody down there, practically nobody, and it's good to see the community again once you're at SpaceX. Excited. Hey Rocky. Carl says they have some new forms on the opposite side of the tower. Don't know if they've done anything on this side. Okay, so on the far side of the tower, they're doing some concrete work apparently. All right. Ray says Chinese Year of the Rabbit, all done with the all done with the hops. So the small hops with the Starship 11 and etc. It looks like they're all done with the hops. That's correct. Ray says, listen. I should drink some water actually. Let's see. Yeah, anyway, just tuning in, see what's going on. If you hear about any road closures or marine stuff, let me know. There was word a couple days ago that maybe we'd be coming up to a static fire this coming week or something. I don't see a tremendous amount of trucks coming in with fuel or anything, so I don't know about that yet. But if we see some road closures or a lot of trucks coming in with methane and stuff, then for sure that would indicate a static fire. But I've gotten a bunch of photos yesterday, and I've started taking some photos today. So I might do a live stream. No, I mean I might do a compilation video tonight. That is definitely a Raptor on that truck over there, because I have the Nikon camera out and I've gotten a bunch of shots which I'll put in the video that I make. But yep, it is a Raptor engine, that's for sure, confirmed. Ray says next road closure is on Monday, 8 till 8. So there is a road closure this week. That's good news, Ray, thanks. I get a few videos of that Raptor engine too with the Nikon. Oh yeah, there is a form on the far side of that truck back there where they're doing some work. So that might be the wall that you're talking about. Let me say who said that. I think it was Tony. Yeah, there is a form behind the Raptor engine back there. I'll point it out. Here we go. Now that I see where it is. you can see the Raptor on the back of the truck there, and there is a wall kind of behind that. Back right behind it, there's that wall, and that's the form that's getting built. But I don't yet see the concrete truck that'll be pouring that wall. Frank says send it to Dallas. He'll put it in his Raptor sled. You know, I'm going to be going to Dallas. I think February 2nd through May. I think I'll be in Dallas. I know I'm staying in the truck here, and I'm alternating. When it's really rainy, then I stay in the truck. But otherwise, I stay at the remote camera site that I own, that Ocean Camera Space Corp owns in Boca Chica. So it's either the truck or the land. Yep. But I was offered work a couple days ago in Dallas for the next 4 months. So if they do get ready for a launch, and if that work does actualize in about a week from now, then I will be going up to Dallas for the next 4 months. And if they do a launch here, then I will take time off and come back down and be here for that. But at $4,000 a month, it's not really something I can not do, unless the viewership here wants to somehow increase the income for the channel. And I have I've reached out to about 500 people on LinkedIn, different scientists and professionals, and I've gotten a good response from about 15 different people, and I have another in the next week. I'm going to reach out to another 400 people, and I do have about another 1,500 people after that I'm going to reach out to. But I've started to make some really good connections, and there is another guy in who's a potential CFO that might chat with me about a bunch of stuff that Ocean Camera Space Corp is trying to achieve, and maybe moonlight or come on as a CFO in that position. There's about 4 engineers who are already interested in being on the team, and I have created there was a submariner, a nuclear submariner who's did like 15 years in nuclear stuff in submarines. He's interested in being on the team, and he suggested and told me about this app called Mighty. And so I've created a group on that app, Mighty, for the different scientists and engineers to meet. There was somebody else who told me about Slack, another one of the engineers, like a fifth engineer told me that he's still a student, PhD student, but he told me that Slack is a pretty good one. And so I have a Slack group for some of the international engineers that I'm considering hiring. But I may have to, for ITAR considerations, I may have to separate the international people into a separate LLC or something outside of the parent, underneath the parent company, but a separate LLC, like a project, separate the projects so that for ITAR, so that certain things aren't covered, they're not exposed to certain types of information and stuff that the U.S. engineers, technologists, and PR people, and everybody else on the main team at OceanCam is going to be able to get involved with. I've also contacted a bunch of CEOs, and sorry for this, I've been moving the other camera around. I've contacted a bunch of CEOs, and so I've had some good response and feedback from some of those people, and there's some partnerships kind of possibly starting to happen. I'm gonna get back to the chat here. Okay, Robert says, I hope for the humanity to become a multi-planetary species, but first we have to fix some small problems here on Earth, like the fence. Yeah, as far as fixing things before we get elsewhere, you know, there's at least 12 different types of people on the Earth. If we were to look at, there's, you know, if you look at all the different types of people, there's at least 12 different types of people. And beyond that, there's many, many other types of people as well. But if we were just to look at, there's 12 months of the year, and each month kind of has its own flavor, because if at least we have two different types of people. We could say the people born in the summer and the people born in the winter, because during summertime it's warmer environment. If you're influenced by the environment around when you were born, then you could say that the people born in the summer, maybe they're more, however, it has a different feeling on the baby when they're in a warm environment versus a cool environment when they're born. So that's at least two different types of people that we'll have on the Earth. Because, you know, when you're a child, you're influenced by your environment considerably. So, and then there's many, many other types of things that have an influence on the growth of a baby. So we have at least, I believe, at least 12 or 13 different types of, we've got 13 moons. So if the moon is capable of tidally locking, being tidally locked with the ocean on the Earth or whatever, then, you know, and there's 13 moons a year, we could say there's got to be at least 13 different types of people. So when it comes to needing to do something before something else happens, you know, there are some people that want the whole plan to be typed out and written and double checked and make sure there's no spelling mistakes and everything else. And then there's some other people that are like, okay, we kind of see what's happening here, let's go do it and figure it out along the way. And then there's some people who will never do it no matter what. They just want to stick with what's always been. And then there's some people who are like, they don't want any type of plan, and they just want to go ahead and just get it done. Let's start doing something. I don't care what the result is. And there's many types of people. So some people might like to, you know, there's different approaches. Maybe we should have peace on Earth before we go elsewhere, but maybe we have to go elsewhere before we have peace on Earth. So it's a tough cookie to crack there. So do you want to video the cookie and all the crumbs on the cookie? You know, I think there's a YouTube channel, something like something about the crumb of the cookie or something like that. So whichever way the cookie crumbles, I think is the phrase, something like that. So some people like to eat the cookie and then talk about the cookie. Other people like to look at the cookie and think about eating the cookie. So, and the cookie would be peace, you know, whatever it is that you want to talk about, that's a cookie. Yeah, even peace in the, you know, even gods, you gotta realize some of the, you look at the, if we were to look at the Greek gods, even the Greek gods fought with each other. So anything outside of the unmanifest without any characteristics, as long as there's a polarity, as long as there's an I and a you, there's going to be a difference of opinion. So there's never going to be peace in the universe unless the different personalities and perspectives have some experience with that which is beyond differences, or that which has found itself can be at peace with itself and other people. But as long as the different personalities, the different gods, the different stakeholders have not had experience with self, there will never be peace as the ultimate peace that people seek. So if you're looking for peace before you venture out into the solar system or the galaxy or the universe, that's a lost cause. You're going to be left behind. If you really want to go and meet some of those other civilizations that are out there, then they're not at peace with themselves or their neighbors, so they're at war already. So even though we're at war with, the United States is at war with multiple parties, and the United States is at war with itself, because it has not become knowledgeable about what self is. The individual doesn't know what it cares about. It is the self. So as long as the personality, the person, is at war with itself, it can't help but be at war with everything else in the universe. So if you want to find peace before you go out and venture off the earth and stuff like that, that's a lost cause. Robert says, yes, me and myself is the same person. That's correct, but it's not a person, Robert. You are it. It is bigger than the small personality concept. It includes the subconscious and the unconscious. It includes what it includes what is, and what is the universe, or you could say consciousness. And consciousness, the self, is the universe. So as long as the awake personality is not aware that it is the universe, it will never be at peace with itself. And when the personality has that awakening, as the Hindu culture and other cultures focus on self-awareness, or awareness of the self, or acknowledgement of self as self, at that point, peace with the universe is instantaneous. But that's called enlightenment. Yeah, nobody's keeping the masses divided. Actually, it's just the one being interacting with itself. Michael says, keep the masses divided. Yeah, it's really a painful situation that we're in, because there is only consciousness throughout the universe. If you want to be free of something, the ultimate freedom is when there's no other, when you're alone in the whole universe, or maybe when you're together with everything, is the ultimate freedom, because you have the only way to be free or be without hindrances in the universe, in the galaxy. Maybe we just focus on the galaxy. The way to be the top, the king, El Hancho, the person in charge, is to get free of some of the hindrances that you have, and the ultimate freedom is self. It is the pure consciousness, base layer of all of the universe, because then there's nobody else to tell you what to do, because you're the head honcho. And the way to be the head honcho is to get beyond your own personality, beyond your own limitations. And the way to do that is you got to keep going beyond into the just pure awareness, pure consciousness, beyond the unconscious. You could say that beyond the unconscious is the self. The self is here too, but it's hard to be aware of what the self is, and that's what a lot of people miss. That's where a lot of people miss. They miss the self. They shoot for it and they miss it, because yeah. Yeah, I was into meditation, all that, starting at the age of 19, and I'm now 46. And after 5 years of intense meditation, doing yoga and also binaural beat meditations and out-of-body experiences, and reading different books, Gurdjieff, Carlos Castaneda, Don Juan, Jane Roberts, Seth Speaks, many different books and training and learning. I finally reached the theory of everything, and the way to reach the theory of everything is to go beyond the mind. And the way to go beyond the mind is to get beyond myself, and the way to do that is to meditate. So there you go. But after you meditate and after you become enlightened, enlightenment is an experience. It's not a continual process. It's actually a destination for like knowledge. You could say ultimate power is enlightenment, and you could say when that happens, it's an experience. It's not a continual happening necessarily. It's an actual experience. When you're talking about it in relation to personality, when enlightenment happens for you, you will be not only the most powerful being in the universe, you will be the only being in the universe, and the universe won't be separate from yourself. There will just be self. So the only way to be the most powerful being in the universe is to become all that is. And the way to become all that is to become less of what you are and open up to the rest of the universe. That's the only way. The only way. But while we're here in these bodies, as the universe moving around, we have a lot of capability to have fun with ourselves in collaboration, like the universe working with itself in collaboration. There's only really two options well, maybe three options, but two of them are active. One option of the universe is to collaborate with itself. The other option of the universe is to fight with itself. They're both valid experiences. And the third option of the universe is to do nothing. So the potential energy, the potential infinity of the universe is not to change. It's unchanging, and it could do nothing, and it have no characteristics. So you could say that might be a blockage. You could say it might be less creative. But yeah, really just two options of the universe. We could do something together, or we could fight each other. But it's really just the one being working with itself or working against itself. But I think that the more magical thing, the more creative thing, is if we work together, because then we can help ourselves have more fun experiences and create more beautiful things, and it'd be a lot more fun for ourselves. I put it, yeah. Robert says, can you make, I think wet material from water is what you're asking. So Robert's asking, can you make wet material from water? That's a good question. Yeah. Anyway, so I'll maybe get back to that. I don't know. That's a good question. That's like the chicken and the egg thing. But I put a thing on Twitter to help people maybe understand on my personal Twitter account. If consciousness takes, you take water and you put it in a glass, and the water takes shape and form because it's in a physical structure of the glass, right? And then you can pour over the glass and the water will pour out and it will not have form anymore. So the water needs a body to have form. So in the same way, if consciousness is all throughout the universe, and if consciousness only has a form when it's in a cup, when a consciousness is in a body, you can imagine consciousness is like water. And wherever water is in a cup or in a body or a form, then it has a body, it has a form. But once you turn over the cup, the water or the consciousness is once again without form. And if you have two cups with two different glasses of water, and water in two different cups, then the consciousness has two different forms. And if you had a bowl, say you are the first cup, you are cup 1, and if I am cup 2, And if consciousness is the water, then you know, you're in the body, you're in your body, cup one, and I'm in the second cup. I'm the consciousness in the second cup, sentience. And if we were saying that water is consciousness, if we take, you know, when you go to sleep, if we turn over your cup and you go out of body and you go do different stuff, you have dreams and you go do stuff when you're asleep, and maybe you have some thoughts and you get some knowledge or insight when you're asleep. Maybe that's because you turned over your cup and you left your body and you didn't have any form anymore. So when you didn't have any form, then your consciousness, your reality got mixed up, and you had a lot of dreams and other stuff because you went out of body, you went out of your cup, out of your form. But then when you woke up again, you were back in the cup, and the consciousness had a form, and it had more of a defined structure. So if we think of consciousness as water, if we have two cups now, I have a cup as well, I'm in this body, and so if there's a bowl underneath and we pour your cup into that bowl and we pour my cup into the bowl, the water got mixed up, the consciousness was all mixed up. So consciousness can be thought of as water, or it can be thought of as something that when it's in a form, it has a structure. And if there is a base level, if there's an ultimate being, if consciousness is throughout the galaxy and the universe, and consciousness only has structure when it is in a form, well then that consciousness, really the identity is related to the form that it's in. But if if the water in our two cups got emptied into a big bowl, then the consciousness got mixed up, and whatever was put back into the original cup isn't necessarily who you were in the previous day. And if maybe there's a constant leak in the bottom of the cup and the water keeps pouring out of the cup, and some other water gets put into the top of the cup, it's kind of hard to identify the consciousness as static. If you're always changing your mind and becoming something new, then consciousness isn't really an identity. Consciousness is like it's like electricity, you can imagine, or I would say water. Consciousness is an awareness. If consciousness is a being, or if water is all throughout the universe, and the water in my cup changes continuously, and I have different thoughts all the time, or I have different emotions, and the only consistent thing is the form of the cup, which changes over 7 years. The entire cup gets switched out and changed, and over that 7-year time I will change my mind and feelings. And if consciousness is something that is not dependent on the structure or the life force of the body, if consciousness turns out to be independent of the form of the structure, and it's not reliant on food or electricity or even the sun or the earth, if consciousness is independent of the body, and if it's really reliant on the structure, then identity is just something local. Identity is localized. And if the water that was poured out of the cup were able to learn to maintain its awareness outside of the cup, if the water could become conscious when it was asleep outside of the cup, when it's independent of the cup itself, if the water became independent of the cup and we're able to have a self-identity outside of the cup, that's what meditation's all about. And as you become more subtle in your ability to sense and be aware in the other brainwave frequencies, you can say, or the sleep state, the theta state, the delta, when that becomes, when you have self-identity, when you can form some type of self-awareness outside of the cup, or of the even when you're in your body, form some type of self-awareness energetically beyond your 5 senses, that's when you'll start to experience or become more powerful, or become more universal or galactic. And that's when you'll start to become a type 2 civilization, type 3 civilization, and at the ultimate top, the ultimate freedom, the ultimate power in the universe is when you become so subtle that you notice the consciousness or the awareness outside of the cup, and that which you are aware of is also aware of you. and that which is in the other, or awareness, is the same thing that's in your awareness. The self-identity becomes, you could say, we're all about decentralization, but you could decentralize your identity. And as you do that, you can not only can you experience throughout the universe, not only do you have more than 5 senses, because you are not just the cup, you are the awareness, you are the consciousness, but you can also find yourself in other bodies. You can find yourself in other locations throughout all that is. And you will have more memories than you do, and more knowledge, more access to knowledge, and to than you have learned and experienced here through this cup. And when you can learn things that you didn't learn here in your physical body in this lifetime, when you have access to knowledge beyond what's written in your textbooks, that's when you become more powerful and more free. And there are times when you will have access to all knowledge everywhere. I've been there a couple times. But it wasn't me. As you refer to me, it was not me. So, and there will be times, I mean, you've already experienced it, because there's only the one awareness, there's only the one consciousness in the universe. So the game you're playing about not being this greater, huge being, the game we're playing with ourself, of not, oh, I'm just little me, as there's some other people that talk about this as well. People who have experienced what I've experienced, what you've experienced. Oh, I'm just little me, I'm just here doing my thing, I'm a little person. But the being, you know, when you were asleep, you weren't saying that. When you were asleep, you were saying, oh, I'm this great, grandiose, all-powerful, galactic, universal being. And now you're telling me something different. You're telling me, no, I'm just me. This is something strange. I don't know what you're talking about. But no, I'm telling you, we are the galaxy. We are the sun. We are the moon. We are the SpaceX booster that we're looking at. We are the sun, and all simultaneous. We are everything, because once you identify as more than just the cup that you're in, once you start to identify with that what you were in your dream state, into the unconscious, into the seaweed and the sand, not only here on the earth, but on every moon and planet, throughout all that is on the other side of the universe. As you identify with yourself in the different elements throughout all that is, throughout the galaxy and the universe, you are not just the consciousness, you're also the matter. Because all that is includes the physical and every dimension of density throughout existence. So if all that is if nothing can be added to the universe, and nothing can be taken away from the universe, and if there is consciousness in the universe, then you are consciousness, and you are every element throughout all that is. You are every element of the universe. And so consciousness cannot be created or destroyed. So consciousness was never created. Life was never created. Life has always been. If nothing can be added or taken away from the universe, if the universe is a closed circuit, an infinite closed circuit, nothing can be added or taken away. So consciousness is forever. You have been here forever, and you will be here forever. So if you're trying to escape into heaven or into another lifetime, if you're trying to escape reincarnation, I will tell you that there is no probability for you to escape having another lifetime. So if you think you can be good in this lifetime and get away and not have to come back, I will tell you that is a lost cause, because we have always existed and we will always exist forever. And we are not going anywhere because we exist. Consciousness cannot nullify itself. It can stop doing stuff. It can choose to, for eons of time, do nothing. But consciousness is, it cannot be taken away or it cannot be added to the universe. So consciousness is like water, and if you choose not to exist in a body, you're really just a small portion of your current awareness of yourself is really just a small portion of your larger being. And you may be an addict and say, oh, I'm addicted to going to heaven, or I'm addicted to eating pizza. But when you go to sleep, I know you like to eat blueberries as well. Because we all dream of doing different stuff in our dreams, and when we get into the most unconscious state of our dreams, we are in other bodies doing other things. Maybe you're in the grass, as the ancient, very ancient saying goes, but can you notice the grasshopper at your feet, right? Yes, we are the grasshopper also, and that's why we can notice the grasshopper at our feet. We are the grasshopper, and we are the toad as well. We are the frog. We are the frogs calling for the rain in the Tarzan movies, or whatever movie that was. We are the frogs, and we are the metal and the different elements all throughout the galaxy and the universe. So the different elements in all that is are not going anywhere. What they can do is they can develop localized personalities, and the water can become aware of itself, and as a kind of a memory, a temporary memory, the water can go and do other things in certain directions that it chooses to do, the localized personalities. So what we can do as localized personalities, the universe interacting with itself, we can choose to create stuff together instead of destroying stuff. When we destroy stuff, we kind of go back to the nothing that we can also be. But the more we work together with ourselves and collaborate and build upon things that we've created, different structures, we can kind of create more magical and beautiful things. But the way for peace, to really exist amongst ourselves, is to not fight with ourselves, but really to realize the base structure of water throughout the galaxy and the universe. Water doesn't go anywhere. Water is without form. And the same way consciousness doesn't go anywhere. Consciousness doesn't have to travel. Consciousness, the being of the universe, every particle of matter throughout the galaxy and the universe has an energetic structure to it. Where there's energy, there's awareness, and where there's awareness, there's a presence. So the substructure of the galaxy and the universe, everything has a frequency and a wave, right? You can say the particle is kind of the localized personality identity of that area. And the wave is just another type of more fluid structure of that localized personality. But the base layer of the universe is consciousness. It's beneath the energy is an awareness, and that awareness is everywhere simultaneously, because or it's here. That awareness is here, and here is everywhere. So the awareness doesn't have to travel throughout the galaxy or the universe. It's really the localized person. It's the personality, the identity, which travels, or which has to open up to other aspects of itself, or us, other aspects of us. I'm gonna move the thing here. So there you go. In 2 simple steps, I will describe the universe. All right, somebody else do the work and condense and consolidate what I just said, and let me know how to say it again. All right, tuning up, see what some of the amazing commentary I've given to myself here in the chat. I'll start from the end and work toward the beginning. Thank you. Yeah, it does look like a praying mantis. That's pretty awesome, huh? Passing one says they're pouring fresh cement today, probably at least a week before they can progress. Okay, so you think another week before they can start doing stuff, huh? I don't know if this pouring of cement would have an influence on the static fire, but yeah, maybe this is kind of an interim push to keep building up the structure. I guess we'll have to see what they build there. Maybe they're building some type of barrier so that when they do the static fire, it doesn't expand beyond there. I'm not sure what they're doing over there. Maybe somebody has some idea of why they would be building something in the middle of the landing pad over there. So, good stuff. Yeah, a lot of good commentary here in the comments section. Good stuff, guys. If any of y'all want to ever be on live with me, I can have a co-host. YouTube has given the capability for YouTubers to give a link. I can send a link to one of y'all in the future. If you let me know ahead of time you'd like to be on with some video and audio, you can do commentary like me with your camera simultaneous on the same stream. Okay, Passage says, or ice. It's cold out there. Ice is still water, says O Force 210. Okay. Yeah, interesting thing about ice in space is that since the low temperature and pressure, I don't know if I said this on camera, but low temperature and pressure in space, the reason there's ice in space around the rings of Saturn, you know, the rings of Saturn are mostly made up of ice. The reason there can be ice in a vacuum on the surface of many of these ocean moons is because the ice has particles of sand and other earth material from the different moons and planets, and maybe some other salt and other stuff. So normally water, if you have a geyser in space where there's no atmosphere, the water would evaporate. But due to not only the cold temperature and pressure, but also the particulate matter in that water, at least on Enceladus, it looks like it turns into snow and lands on the surface of that moon. But on other moons and planets, it forms ice, and the water doesn't evaporate because it has different particulate. And NASA, if you have a mission that you want to do to some of these moons and planets, I was told recently, about a month ago, by somebody at the there's a company called SEEC, Science Exploration or something like that, Space Exploration, something. You can look them up on, you can find my Twitter page and there's a link to find my LinkedIn page and there's a link to some photos and people at sea. But they told me that NASA and other space organizations would be interested in collaborating with you if you were able to gather some of that ice around the rings of Saturn and wherever else you get some ice in space, because they're interested in the particulate matter, and they would maybe trade deep space network time for some of that data you would get from the capturing and collecting of that ice and that particulate matter from space, because they would tell them about the composition of the moon where the ice came from. You know. Icy moons are hard to get to maybe to the Earth part because there's so many layers of ice, and if you're able to get some elements out of that space mission, then they'd be happy to work with us and with you. So if you're writing up a proposal to NASA, suggest that you collect some of that icy particulate. Because not only are they looking for water in space or ice in space, they're looking for elements. And if you can, elements are very useful, like iron and everything else. And so they're looking for different elements too. Maybe they want to build some iPhones. You know, we got to build some iPhones in space, and if we can get some rare earth elements, which aren't rare on Earth, but they are dispersed and diffused, if we can get some concentrated locations of some of these rare earth elements out there in space, then that would be very, very useful. All right, I think I run out of things to say, so. Passing Wind says, was it Gordon Cooper who thought they saw fireflies in space and it turned out to be frozen urine? Oh, that's cool. Good stuff. Jimmy Rio says he believes they'll make an attempt for a static fire launch of the booster, Starship combo, and do a mock landing in the ocean over by Hawaii, and maybe catch the booster at the tower next to the launch pad. Yeah. Oh, so you think they'll try and just let the booster land in the ocean, Jimmy says, and then maybe the next time they'll try and catch it. I got you. Yeah, the weather here is not so windy as yesterday. Thanks, Tony, for bringing it up. We'll see what it turns out to be. The weather for Boca Chica and Port Isabel. Conditions are cloudy with temperature of 62 Fahrenheit, so it is a little warmer than yesterday. 17 Celsius. The wind is blowing from the east. It feels like it's blowing from the wet. Yes, it's blowing from the east. That's correct. At 10 miles an hour. It's not that windy. Yesterday we had 22 miles an hour, so it's like half as windy as it was yesterday. 16 kilometers, and the current humidity is 86%. It's a good amount of humidity. It's the way I like it. Very humid here is very good. Passing Wind says, at the time Gordon Cooper said that, we didn't know anything about space and couldn't live out there. So, yeah. It was 14 Celsius yesterday. Okay, so it's 17 today, huh? Okay. Yeah, it was colder yesterday, that's for sure. If you have any questions or insights, we can have say what day today is. Let's see where I put my... Today, I believe, is the 27th. It's a Friday of January 2023. So the insight for today, January 27th, 2023, it is the Chinese New Year. It is a Friday, unless you're on another side of the globe, or if you're watching from our future, or if you're able to somehow to watch from the past, I salute you. I don't know if that's possible, but congratulations. But yeah, if you're watching, whenever you're watching from whatever dimension you're looking at, whether you're in the ethers or here on Earth itself or another planet, thank you. SpaceX Lee, thank you very much. I may upload some better quality imagery later too, but we shall see. I've taken video, but the challenge is to upload it and to do a little editing, but we'll see. If for any reason you want to chat or collaborate or make fun of or chime in, you're welcome to, here on this stream or elsewhere, another time, another place. And I'll probably do another 5 to 10 minutes. Thanks, Rocky. I can get a shot of the Starship. I think I should do that. Let me make sure my truck is closed. Just a minute. Okay, the truck is closed. I'm gonna move the camera. We'll get some shots for about 5-10 minutes of the Starship and the crane over there, just to the right here. Just a minute. I'm gonna get a temporary shot of this too. Just a minute. I think I will. I get a bunch of shots today with the Nikon camera, and I will put together pretty in depth. I think I'll do about an hour or so of different shots with the Nikon camera, and I'd kind of do a slideshow with music. There's not going to be any talking, but I'll do a slideshow with music of the launch site here. Okay, this is the position I'll be in for at least 5-10 minutes. We'll get some shots of the Starship too. Something different we can look at. I kind of alternate between the two shots right now. The somewhat of a closer shot of the Starship and then a closer shot of the crane there. Yeah, if you're in the chat, you can zoom in with your phone too, even though you just gotta pick an area of the video you'd like to watch. Thanks, Tony. And you can zoom in. The quality of the image isn't the best, but you can definitely zoom in on different areas. Yeah, as far as, yeah, good stuff. Thanks, Robert. You know, I may say a lot of stuff, but what I say does not change. At least I'm consistent in what I say. If you go back a year and a half from now, even into the very beginnings of this channel, in the April time frame, I didn't really talk about this stuff, but if you go back to maybe the June, maybe, I don't know how much I talked about this stuff, but definitely sometime in the 2021 time frame, over a year ago, I said the same exact things I said now. And if you go back to 2017, I wrote a book and I said the same stuff I'm saying now back then. And if you go back to 2007, 2008 time frame, when I talked with somebody else named Mike Adams of the News Health Ranger, I said the same stuff I'm saying now over 15 years ago. I was saying the same exact stuff I'm saying now. So what I'm saying hasn't changed in the last 15 years. And when I learned about what I'm saying now, that was 20 years ago. So in the last 20 years, what I'm telling you now, the way I'm explaining it and talking about it, is the same stuff I've said over the last 20 years. So even though I'm saying strange, extraordinarily, maybe things you haven't heard of or thought about, it is exactly the way I was, same stuff I was saying 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago here on camera, or 5 years ago in a book I wrote, or in 2019 I did an interview with some people, and I said the same stuff on camera back then. So even though it's odd, what you may think what I'm saying is different, not what everybody else is saying, it's a different way of looking at it, at least I'm consistent in what I'm saying. So I'm not adding to, I may be embellishing, but in a good way, kind of explaining more, but what I'm saying has not changed. So I'm not adding to it, I'm not taking away from it. It is what it is. The universe has not changed since the beginning. But there was no beginning to the universe. So the universe, the consciousness level of the universe has not changed. And it will never change. But all the different cups of the universe will continue to change and move around. So Robert says the universe, in his opinion, is also spherical. It is not flat. Nice, Mike. Oh, shoot. SpaceX, I don't know how much of that is in dollars, but I appreciate it. Wow. I'll have to see when it changes over to dollars. But thank you for the support, for contribution. I'm going to get on camera. Thank you. I have an umbrella here too, but thank you. It's starting to rain. Thank you. Okay. Awesome. To the moon. That's $1.23 more than I had 5 seconds ago. No, thank you so much. That's like, for every dollar is like worth 1,000 people watching. So that $1.23 was at 1,230 people worth of contribution. So I appreciate that. If everybody were to donate half a penny, that you just donated like 1,000 people's worth of money. So I appreciate that. You represent 1,230 people. More like maybe 2,520 people. Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Well, we live in good times. The reason I'm going to work in February is so that I can make a lot more money and keep doing awesome stuff here. And you know, I'm really doing the push for the Ocean Camera Space Corp mission, and it looks like it's going to happen. It looks like it's happening. So that's going to be probably in the billions of dollars. So six billion or so dollars, and we'll get to do that space mission, which will bring in about $1 to $100 trillion in value. And not only will it be good for the investors, but it will force, or maybe it will entice or encourage the textbook writers to include, we have gone to Enceladus and collected lots of water, and the water is there. We've seen the water. This is the video of the water. These are the pictures of the water. And that little company over there is now worth trillions of dollars. And so there's a lot of opportunity in space now because we have confirmed water, and it's just sitting over there for the next people that want to do a space mission. The water is going to be used for fuel. It's going to be used for oxygen. It's going to be used for growing potatoes, lots of potatoes, and it's going to be used for making soup. And a lot of people over there in deep space are now going to be able to have hot tub baths and showers because there's confirmed water that has been collected by Ocean Camera Space Corp. If there's any company in the space industry concerned about hygiene, it is Ocean Camera Space Corp. Tony, to the moon. I appreciate it. That's good stuff. Tony cares about hygiene too. Thank you. Tony, you represent 10,000 viewers. I Happy Friday, David Teresa. I think I will wind it down in the next minute. Next 1 minute. I think I had said it would be about 5-10 minutes. Don't want to stretch people too far. Good stuff. I'm gonna go around the site here. I'll get on camera and talk about this too. You know what? Happy Friday if it's Saturday for you, or if it's another day in the future. You know, happy Friday, happy day to you, and I'm going to go around the site here, get a bunch of shots of stuff with the other Nikon camera, and I'll put together at least a slideshow today probably. I've got some video from yesterday and also the day before. I've taken some other photos and stuff. I'll stand over here, open the umbrella, get the wind off. The wind's from the east, so the wind's coming from over there. I've been doing good stuff, working, reaching out to people, making changes and moving things forward, and I mean, you know what I've been doing. Look forward to chatting with you. If there's ever an opportunity we can chat about something, send me an email, send me a message. Tony sends me emails. So my email is paul at embryospace.com or paul at oceancam.space, but embryospace.com is easier to remember. Also oceansinspace.com, paul at oceansinspace.com will get to me as well. And take care. Happy Friday, Happy New Year to you. If you're Chinese New Year, Year of the Rabbit, I was told here in the chat. I'm not sure about that. I think I remember someone else saying Year of the Rabbit. And if you're in Brownsville, consider, I think MSX is having a gathering today, so Makerspace X, not affiliated with SpaceX, but Makerspace X, not SpaceX. And so we're gonna be having a party today. So I'll see you at the gathering today if you're here. January 27, 2023, and that's it. I'll check out the chat. Thanks. How you doing? What are you missing? The big event. Do you want to be on camera? Okay. Yeah, just every day I do a lot of updates and stuff like that. So. Is anything going on here? Oh well, there used to be one of these on top of the booster yesterday. They took it down, and there was one of these that they took off of there and rolled down the road. Okay. In about a week, there may be a static fire, but at the end of next month or at the end of February or March, there's going to be a launch, probably. That's what Elon said. And where can we find that info on Google? He's on Twitter. Elon has been saying that on Twitter, and so, or SpaceX on Twitter. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yep. All right, looks like a tour going on, or just a family stopping by. There's like 5 people in that vehicle there on the right, just chatting with them about stuff. They're trying to figure out what was going on. So I'll get the, what will I get next? I'll do a kind of a pan left of the site here. Yeah, SpaceX has a YouTube channel here. Check that out. SpaceXLY, SpaceXly. Good people. I'll say a few more things. You know, if we're all the same individual, or the same consciousness throughout the galaxy and the universe. If we are all the same, if we're not like similar, if the water has a consciousness, or if consciousness is conscious, think about that. If consciousness is conscious, if consciousness is alive, if consciousness can have awareness outside of a form, outside of a physical body, if awareness is not reliant on having a form, if consciousness can exist without blood and skin and bones, if there's many different dimensions, if there's many different densities, types of matter where consciousness, just like a computer, you can have a computer work with silicon, or a computer can work with light. Different computers there are now light transistors and other types of things. You can have, all right, we're coming to a commercial break here. SpaceX reaching out to you from this land here in South Texas. SpaceX, follow them, check them out on YouTube. SpaceXLY, SpaceX. Back to the show here. Yes, SpaceX is a good type of group. If consciousness is conscious, and if it can exist in not only the blood dimension with bones and skin and tendons and other stuff, check them out. SpaceX, you got to check them out. Go to that YouTube channel. Then consciousness is not reliant on this one lifetime here. And so if the more subtle, if consciousness is always conscious, if consciousness never loses its ability to be conscious, to have awareness, to have some type of perception or sensation, and if the individuality is only reliant on if the local personality, the identity is only reliant on the body or the form that it's in, as once again, as that gathering, momentary gathering of the consciousness learns to, as a group with itself, have some type of self-awareness outside of the more immediate cup that it's in, the body that it's in, as long as it learns to sense into the less dense form that it inhabits at the different, you could say each atmosphere has certain densities. So the densities of the elements in that atmosphere are what that body is operating within. So as the air that you breathe in, maybe eventually you can become aware, you can transfer the perception into that nearest element, into the air, the density of the air. Maybe on Mars or Jupiter, the air is a different density. So maybe you might have to practice on how to sense in that atmosphere without the body. So you can get out of the body, you can travel around, you can do stuff, but one of the beginning things is to learn to perceive the energy around your physical body. And on each planet, the energy is going to be different based on the type of atmospheric pressure and density and everything else. So the more you train your awareness to not only notice the loud music in the other room, or the air conditioner, or the pressure of your body on the chair or the seat, or maybe you're standing, your feet in your shoes. The more you train yourself to let that boundary blend. Maybe if you're relaxing, it's better if you're trying to relax when you do it, but if you're trying to let that boundary blend when you're walking around and exercising, that's more of a high beta state. That's more like when you're in the zone and you're kind of going beyond the boundaries when you're running or something like that. When you're doing something strenuous, you can really get into it and have the energy kind of permeate the boundary, so that you don't notice it and you kind of expand beyond your limited physical form. But if you were to do it when you're relaxing, then you can let that boundary merge. You can let where the mattress touches your back, or your legs touching maybe the clothes touching your body, you can let that merge, that sensation, that immediate localized boundary perception to merge and blend, and you can allow the energy to expand beyond that one limited boundary. And as you become more aware of the gathering of energy and warmth or something, or kind of moving of sensation, awareness, energy, then eventually that energy will gather up amongst itself. You'll be able to direct and move that energy more with precision or more with intention. And as the awareness from within the cup, within the body, as that awareness begins to get transferred or copied into that energetic gathering of energy, as you transfer the personal perception, Carlos Castaneda would talk about he would talk about the collection point. He would talk about in Taoism they talk about the Dantian, or the core. Carlos Castaneda would talk about the assemblage point, and that assemblage point is, you can think of it as the thing that would copy or write the information from your hard drive to your USB port or whatever. So whatever that USB port, whatever that hard drive, that portable thing for your storage, whatever your personal storage thing. Recently there was a video about a scientist, and they were able to take a book and put it on DNA, and they were able to copy a whole book onto DNA and then bring it back into like a computer. So they were able to put data on the DNA and then bring it back onto the computer. And they were able to copy billions of this book onto the DNA and then bring it back onto the computer. So the DNA can store the different, even like a small gram of DNA or stuff can hold an infinite, a tremendous amount of information. So in the same way, you can think about every density as a different USB drive or something like that. And so you can kind of hijack different elements, and you can transfer your perception, your assemblage point, onto that different density, whether it's an air molecule or maybe it's some type of energy particle, that you can transfer your awareness into that energy particle, and you can travel around through that new dimension with you gotta take that that energy which had bubbled up around your physical body, and you gotta transfer your individuality perception into that energetic area that you've energized, or gathered your perception into that area, that assemblage point of energy, and transfer at least some part of your working awareness, so that not only do you have the ability to move around in that new area, whether it's the etheric energy or the astral energy or the mental dimension, that have different laws than we do here in the physical world, but you not only will you be able to go and have that experience with some part of your personality, so that you can function in that dimension, but when you get back to your physical body here, you'll be able to incorporate and integrate those memories. So that the difficulty isn't necessarily going out and doing stuff. Yeah, that's a tremendously accomplished experience, and but the next thing, in addition to having this type of an experience, is to, when you reintegrate that outside experience, to bring it back here into this physical body, because you got to reintegrate that memory and experience into your physical form and physical awareness. When you reintegrate that smaller part of your awareness, which you organized and made capable of going out into that other dimension, with your assemblage point of personality, as you've gone beyond your cup with your smaller part of water out into that other density layer structure, when you get back from your voyage into this body here, you could think of it as diluting. You don't want to dilute. If you have a small amount of water out there, and that water got different colorings, different experiences out there in these other dimensions or frequency states or whatever, however you want to imagine it, You don't want that water to get diluted when it rejoins the rest of the water in this physical body. You want it to still integrate into the personality which exists here in the physical body. So that's the second half of having an experience. Not only to go out and have the adventure, but to, when you get back, to remember and not forget the experience. Okay, Tony says Sheldon from the TV series The Big Bang Theory is trying to crack the string theory. Interesting. Yeah, the interesting thing about the universe is no string is needed. If you are everywhere, then you don't have to go anywhere, and there's no string. If the body is as big as the universe, if the being which senses is everywhere, then it doesn't need to go anywhere to sense. And it can't get disconnected from anything either. What is can become aware of what is within itself. Yeah, it's a comedy. Oh, it's a comedy series. I got you. Quantum mechanics. There we go. Robert MP. Good stuff. All right. Okay. Robert says the universe is round. He can demonstrate it with facts. That's his biggest. Robert MP. Everybody, reach out to him. He's that's his YouTube handle. Robert MP. Period. Robert MP. Dot. All right. Thank you for the support and contributions. It's really also nice to have a lot of chat here. And good thing we don't have any tomatoes here. I think I might get hit with a tomato possibly. But there are some icons that you can use to throw some tomatoes if you would like. Otherwise, you can also drop some coins. Anyway. Good weekend to you. Good day to you. Whenever you watch this, wherever you're watching from, whatever dimension you're looking at, we are the universe interacting with itself, and I think we can create more beautiful things if we are the universe interacting with itself. We, the universe, can create more beautiful things if we don't tear down the things that we create. We can create more intricate things over time, just like many other civilizations have done in the past. If while we're creating the things we are creating, that we don't destroy them at the same time. So if we create things and continue to create more elaborations on those things, then we will have a much more elaborate thing. But if we create things and then tear them down while we're trying to create them, then we're not going to be able to create anything elaborate. They will just be temporary things. So we, the universe, will have been here forever, and we are here because we are us, and so we will never be able to take ourselves out or destroy ourselves. We will forever and have always been here, and here is everywhere, because if we are the universe, we are everywhere simultaneously. So we are here, and our challenge with ourselves is to realize where we are. If we are here and we are everywhere, then our challenge is to realize what is and where we are. And if we are here and if we are everywhere, then there's no need not to go somewhere, and there's no need to sterilize another place, because we are just us, and there's only one free being in the universe, and that's the self. Everybody else is subject to different polarities and laws. But the real freedom in the universe is consciousness. Consciousness is the freest aspect of what we are, and everything else has conditions, different conditions, environmental situations. But if we want to be free, the freest we can be is in meditation, or you can say beyond self, or beyond personality. Yep, there you go. So that's everything. That's the theory of everything. And for me, it's not a theory, but for you, it can be a theory. And I will see you on the other side. in 10, 9, 8. Good day to you. Thanks for watching. Paul Makos with Ocean Camera Space Corp. CEO and also CEO of Embryo Space Inc. Take care.